Happy Fan Appreciation, Kraken fans. That's right, bittersweet. It's a great day because it's a game day, but it's also the last game for, again, what was a season that we will talk about in the off season. But if you're headed to CPA, the Seattle Kraken are ready to appreciate you. Kraken fans, let's talk about, though, this matchup against the San Jose Sharks for tonight. And that's coming up on Locked On Kraken.
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are the Seattle Kraken.
Thanks as always for making Locked On Kraken a part of your daily destination. Erica L. Ayala here, your host of Locked On Kraken. It is Fan Appreciation Night for the Seattle Kraken. They are taking on the San Jose Sharks, a team that we've had some difficulty with in the past, coming off of a win against Anaheim, so we like that. But we also know that we've got some work to do when it comes to this particular San Jose team. Before we get into it too much, I want to let you know today's episode of Locked On Kraken brought to you by Indeed. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Visit Indeed.com/locked on to start hiring now. Terms and conditions apply. So happy Fan Appreciation, whether you're going to be at CPA or not. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for making Locked On Kraken, as I said, a part of your daily destination. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, as you likely know. Also want to note that I've been having a few issues with the uploads this week. Some software issues, I believe, on my end. So I apologize for that. And some of what I said you may or may not have heard already because, again, some of the episodes this week have been a little bit delayed just due to uploading, having some issues uploading. Anyway, so you might remember that I talked about, on yesterday's episode that the Seattle Kraken really do have a lot to play for. Playing, yes, for pride, and some of that is going to go on the line against this San Jose team, but also some people playing for spots. And in the episode that we did upload, the correct episode, you heard Dave Haxtell talking about that when it comes to some of the young talent as well. Shane Wright has been great, but also talked about that Kate Shefty article. We're probably not going to have him for long. And we also know, and we'll talk about this on Friday's episode, but the Coachella Valley Firebirds have been doing really well in the AHL. And we knew that. We've been following that. But spoiler alert, just in case, the Firebirds have captured their first Pacific Division championship. So we know they made it all the way to the finals last year, but now they not only get the Pacific Division championship, regular season championship, but they get a first round bye, which I really like as far as just getting some rest. This also means that some of the Kraken players who are up with some of the Firebirds players, who are up with the Kraken will have a little bit of rest and they can reintegrate into the Firebirds. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more on Friday's episode that I'll probably record later tonight after the game, sometime later tonight / early this morning. But yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit more. And then that's what we'll be talking about, is how Coachella Valley is preparing. But let's get you to what we need to know about today's matchup. Playing the San Jose Sharks, they are 18-51, yikes, and 9. Away record is 7-27-4. 17-17-6 is the home record for the Seattle Kraken. I would love to see us, at least in the plus-minus column, stay 500 or better. And a win tonight, of course, would get us that. 5-4-1 in our last 10 games. 2-6-2 are the San Jose Sharks. Jared McCann, who is likely out again with injury, is leading the way with 60 points. Mikael Granlund, 55 points, is the San Jose Sharks leader. You can see that the Seattle Kraken here at 21.4% have the power play advantage over the San Jose Sharks. Also have the penalty kill advantage at 79.3. We know against Anaheim, the power play was critical. And I think special teams could come down to it again against the San Jose team. A few things to note for the game. A win tonight, would give the Kraken 8 wins against a single opponent for the second time in franchise history. We just accomplished that with the Anaheim Ducks. Shane Wright has scored the game-winning goal in each of Seattle's last 3 victories. Entering play yesterday, Wednesday, his 3 game-winning goals were they tie Matthew Knees for most among NHL rookies this season, the most in the NHL among all skaters since April 1st, and it made him the 22nd, good number, rookie in NHL history to score the game-winning goal in at least 3 consecutive wins, according to NHL stats. So yeah, again, I talked about it on an episode earlier this week. Sorry for the technical delays, or for the delays caused by technical difficulties. But if you have heard what I've been saying this week, Shane Wright, I like the development pipeline. Dave Haxtell on yesterday's episode, Wednesday's episode, I played a snippet of him talking a little bit just about the development plan more broadly. But, he talked about wanting to get some of the young guys in early when they come up to the big leagues, and then give them some time to reflect and kind of just observe, and then get back on the ice and show what they've learned from experience, from practice, from conversations, and from putting the work in. So I think this development plan seems to be the right trajectory for Shane Wright, but I'm curious to see what he's going to look like in the AHL playoffs. I'm curious to see what he's going to bring potentially as soon as next year in the NHL. Speaking of rookies, no longer a rookie, but Matty Beniers enters the game tonight, having totaled 8 points in his last 8 games. That's 4 goals and 4 assists. So an even split. This dates back to March 26th against bada bing, bada boom, Anaheim. Other notes, Philip Grubauer has an 11-4-1 career record against the Sharks. And I mentioned that Joey Daccord has a little bit of an injury. Yeah, nothing too serious, but something that obviously the Seattle Kraken didn't want to become an issue. So we'll see if anything has changed on that front. And so, I think it's going to be interesting. Players to watch, at least in our notes here, Oliver Bjorkstrand, who we did hear from in Seattle Kraken media. He didn't have much to say. He did talk about, playing on the line with Beniers and I almost said Bjorkstrand. He is Bjorkstrand. And Burakovsky. We've seen him with Beniers before. We know that Andre Burakovsky has been in and out of the lineup. But what we need to know about Bjorky is that he enters the game tonight totaling 7 points, 1 goal, and 6 assists. I love the assist part. He also had that, reverse hit the other night. Bjorky is not, I don't think he's definitely not a huge player, but he can play with some spice, and I like it. So anyway, 7 points in his last 4 games, including 3 multi-point efforts in that span. On yesterday's episode, I broke that down also, his multi-point game. Bjorkstrand has points in 5 consecutive games for the first time, if Bjorkstrand gets a point tonight, it would be his first time since February 27th to March 7th of 2022 that he, has a 4-game point streak. So yeah, that would be good. He has 10 points in his last 6 games against San Jose. Coming up on Locked On Kraken, let's go into the 3 game essentials over on Kraken, the Kraken website. And then I do want to go back to, again, the conversation, and we're going to be talking about this in the off season, but what do we need to see from the players? What do we need to see from the coaching staff? And this is our last look at the team at home. So yeah, I want to talk about it now. And of course, we'll talk about it moving forward. That's coming up on today's episode of Locked On Kraken. Today's episode of Locked On Kraken brought to you by our friends at Factor. Now, I am a person who, as you know, if you listen to the show, I'm always on the go. And, I live in an area that's a little bit different as far as accessibility to all kinds of things than I'm used to. And so I have really leaned into having the things that I need that help me stay on track with my personal goals, my professional goals, my health and wellness goals delivered. You can manage your budget a little bit better that way. You can pick and select things, in this case, like with Factor, meals that are delicious, ready to eat. Everything is fresh, never frozen, chef crafted. And, if you're looking for gourmet meals, try meals that feature premium ingredients, filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter, broccolini, and even asparagus. And you can tailor this to your schedule, which, again, for someone like me, I love. Customize weekly meals with the flexibility to get as much or as little as you need. Pause or reschedule deliveries that suit your lifestyle. Factor is your solution for fast premium meals without the need to cook. I personally do love to cook. That being said, I don't always have the time to cook, and I still have to eat. So this would help solve that problem for me as well. And it is April, and Factor is celebrating Earth Day all month long. So look out for the Earth Month Eats badge on all of the menus or on specific items on the menu for the lowest carbon footprint meals possible. So if you want to get in on the goods, head to factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50 and use code LockedOnNHL50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box. That's code LockedOnNHL50 at factormeals.com/Locked on NHL 50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box while your subscription is active. So happy and healthy eating, everybody. Thanks as always for making Locked On Kraken a part of your daily destination. Yes, I'm pretty giddy today. The weather's nice here in Tulsa. I am like all paraphernalia'd out. I'm going to a baseball game tonight, which you probably couldn't tell because I've got a WNBA hat. Athletes Unlimited jersey though. But I wear this stuff because I never get to wear it unless I'm doing a podcast or at home, but I wear sports paraphernalia that I can't wear when I'm working sports games. I just wear it. So anyway, there you go. I will be having my Kraken jersey on later today. It will not be the Winter Classic jersey. That's kind of like those retros. Let's just stick to the deep blue and the white aways. Anything else has been no bueno. That's a whole nother story. Let's get into these 3 game essentials. I promised we'd talk about it. Let's talk about it. Bob Condor bringing us the 3 game essentials this time around. Good with goaltending. Talked about Philip Grubauer yesterday. Here's what Dave Haxtell has to say. Again, some of these quotes are in the episode, but I know we've had some technical difficulties. So as a reminder for anyone who's listened, and if you haven't, here's the quote. Spoiler alert. When one has been injured or down, the other one has been able to pick up that slack and do a good job. Dave Haxtell talking about Philip Grubauer and Joey Daccord. They've supported each other very well in that way. We've had a lot of nights where we've given up a little, and then he goes on to say that we've also had nights that we've given up a lot. And I talked about that on Wednesday's episode. And the other night, it was a night when we had a lot of work for Grubauer and a lot of quality work, and he did a great job for his teammates. So feeling good about goaltending in that Philip Grubauer is doing great. He seems to be healthy. We do want to see Joey Daccord back, of course, and healthy, but also good that he's getting some rest. Three keys. Number 2 here is, of course, about Shane Wright. We talked about that. Since being called up 10 days ago, Shane Wright has scored 4 goals in 4 games. And I broke down some of that in the first segment. So this is interesting. So he's talking, Bob, about the backhand shot that I mentioned on yesterday's episode. And if maybe this is something that Shane Wright wants to add to his repertoire, or maybe he's channeling Eberle's backhanders. Eberle, very good on the backhand. Right to that said, with a smile, "I'll take anything I can get." And then I told you this last part of the quote. "They all count the same on the score sheet." That's what I'm going to say. I just kind of tried to get on the net there and got a lucky bounce for sure, but we'll take it. Yes, Shane, we will take it. For an anemic offense, we will take it any way we can get it. So keep throwing them in there, Shane. Keep doing it, including tonight. All right, know thy enemy, of course. The Sharks won once in their last 5 games. But that tells me that they're hungry. They're hungry for a win. And so we've got to be, I almost said beat McKenzie, because that's what I'm about to read for you next. We've got to be mindful of that, including like goaltender Mackenzie Blackwood, who has a .900 save percentage and is likely to get the start for Dave Quinn. I think it's going to be interesting to see, I guess Quinn had some choice words for his skaters in his most recent media remarks. But again, looking at some of these stats, I bet he does. So this is a team that relies a lot on goaltending. What that means for me, what that means for the Seattle Kraken is that they're going to have to get crafty. I've been saying this for a while. I think sometimes we don't play direct enough. Sometimes we try to get too cute. So yeah, we'll shoot a backhander, get the goalie moving, wrap around behind and underneath the goal line, do something, get something going. Don't just play direct. And for all that is holy, I think we hold on to the puck sometimes, or maybe try to make the perfect pass. I want to see the Kraken get into the 3 Fs: fun, fast, and forechecking, baby. We need it for the win tonight, but also moving forward. So final thoughts for today's episode. I want to see, again, like I mentioned, fun, fast, forechecking. I want to see the Seattle Kraken be able to balance being direct when they need to be, and also being a little more crafty, a little bit more persistent is what I'm looking for. Sometimes persistence, or I'll say it this way, persistence doesn't mean you're always just attacking the net. Sometimes you do have to set up the shot. Sometimes you have to wait for that net front presence. We heard from Maddie Beniers a couple of days ago talking about a net front presence and the focus on a net front presence. And with no Wenberg, that's going to be something that other players are going to have to step up and do. So, it's a little bit of a balancing act, but in a win, a shutout win, the fact that, a team like the Anaheim Ducks was dominating the game flow chart, we don't want that. There's no need for that. Okay, you get the win, and okay, this is a team that's not going to go on for the playoffs, but this is a team, especially with some of the young players that we have up right now, that is developing habits. And I'd like to see the habits be a little bit more solidified. And tonight's another opportunity to do that. So let's see if we can get the win. Likely going to be Philip Grubauer, but hey, I would be fine if Joey's feeling good and is getting the rest and recovery that he needs to get him in another game or 2 before the season ends. But there's no need to push it. Just like there's no need to push it with any of the other guys that are not in the lineup right now. Soon enough, we'll have the boys from Coachella Valley head back to the Firebirds. And so that will open up some more time for Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, maybe Tomas Tatar. Again, not really sure what's going on there. Talked about it a little bit the other day, but we just gotta, I want to say get back to basics, but I don't know that we ever got to the basics this season. We kind of glossed over some things, and the injuries didn't help that. I know full and well this team has not been healthy, and that is not to dismiss that. We can't. We absolutely can't. And there's some things that we could have done better. Anyway, that's our show. Again, apologies for any delays on your end because of technical difficulties on my end. Hopefully I can get that squared. We will have an episode tomorrow. I will be on the road over the weekend for a wedding. I'm very excited for that. And then WNBA draft on Monday. So we might have a show Sunday. The Monday show might go up Sunday night. Just so we have that ready to go Monday, and then we'll close out the rest of the week. Thursday, the 18th, sad face, last Seattle Kraken game of the season. Tough season, but we're going to talk about it. And of course, we'll follow what's happening with some of the other teams. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to one another. Hold fast. Stay true and loud and proud. We say tonight, let's go Kraken. I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace out, everybody.